Hi, and welcome back to Being Untamed. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Grace.
And we are here to talk today about what it's like to compare your life to others, how it's something that people can easily fall into, and what to do when you notice yourself falling into it. What I've noticed for me is in those moments where I'm comparing myself to somebody else. Like I might see somebody post something on social media, or I might hear something about somebody that's really exciting. I might hear about a big accomplishment that a friend of mine has, because we happen to be in a group of pretty high achievers, and there's highlights going around all the time, whether it's on social media or whether it's in a group chat. It seems like somebody's always winning.
Totally.
And for me, I know in the past I've had times, especially as a coach, where I would see other coaches and they were just blowing up. And I was like, I'm a great coach too. What's going on? Where are my opportunities? And I would get really frustrated because I was like, I've done everything to be a great coach. And there were moments where it felt like it just got stuck. And I would compare myself to these other coaches, and I was like, I'm just as good as them. And it didn't matter. That honestly didn't matter, because I'm me and nobody else can be me. And so for me, that was just an amazing lesson in, hey, I'm walking my own path, and this is my path, and it's just for me. What about you, Grace? What have you noticed about comparison?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I've noticed about comparison is that comparison is the thief of joy. And, I think a lot of us have gotten caught into comparing ourselves to others, comparing ourselves to situations. And I know when I fall into that, it just brings a lot of uneasiness. Like for me, I'll compare myself. Well, this person's doing this, or this person's accomplishing this, or this is what they're doing. Maybe I should do that. And every time that I fall into the trap of comparison, what I notice is that my confidence just swipes down the drain.
And what does that feel like when your confidence swipes down the drain?
Yeah, it just makes me feel stuck, like when I fall into comparison, then I'm like, oh, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing this. And maybe I want to try that. And maybe I want to try that. Right. And I think it's cool to like go on social media, like you're saying, and see all of the good things that people are doing. But where I think it crosses the line is when you're looking at someone's page and you're not like inspired. It's when you're comparing. And I think that just shifts the whole energy behind it and your motives behind it.
Right. Right. And for me, like what I notice is when I am in comparison mode, it's coming from a place of scarcity.
Totally.
And when I'm totally lit up about me and who I am and totally feeling good about me, I see somebody winning and I'm like, cool, I can do that too.
Totally.
I am doing that too.
Totally.
And I'm so focused on me that I get to celebrate when other people win. And it's so fun to watch people win.
Totally.
Because we can all win.
Totally.
Because we're all playing a game. And so if my friends are playing a game and they're winning, guess what? I am too.
Totally. Totally.
And so what I notice about that is it's just so fun and so exciting to root each other on, to be in a place where instead of comparing, we're just celebrating and we're cheering each other on. And there's room for all of us to win, and there's room for all of us to win more.
Totally. Totally. And I love that, because that's just really the abundance mindset. We can all have it all, and there really is enough for all of us. And that's something that I've had awareness on. Like the team that I'm on here in Utah, everyone is so supportive, right? Everyone's cheering each other on, right? Someone gets an under contract, someone gets a home closed, someone gets a buyer signed, right? Everyone's cheering them on. And when I'm cheering people on, what are people going to do back to me? Like if everything's a mirror, if I cheer people on and I want everyone to win, how is that going to be returned back to me?
Absolutely. And by setting the example for how you treat others, you're teaching people how you want to be treated too.
100%.
And so if I set the example of, hey, I'm going to celebrate you. I'm going to celebrate you so hard. Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to throw a party when you win.
I love that.
And how fun is it to know that, hey, I've put this out into the world and it's going to come back to me 100%. In whatever way it comes back to me. But it's like, if I show up and I celebrate my wins and I celebrate others' wins, because when I think about abundance believes there's enough for all of us 100%. To have everything we want. And scarcity would believe that if you're going to have, I might not be able to have because we're competing for the same thing.
Right.
And what if we're not? What if we're each in our own lane doing our own thing?
Totally.
And what if our lives are set up so that we can have all the resources, all the experiences, all the fun, all the joy, all the friendships, all the relationships that we could ever possibly want?
I love
what
that.
if it was designed that way for us just out of the gate?
What if? Kind of sounds like it kind of is.
Yeah. And what do you notice about yourself as you step into that space where you are comparing? Like, what do you feel in your body when you go there?
To me, when I'm stepping into a place of comparison, I feel very contracted. I don't feel expansive. I feel like when I'm comparing, like I'm, a yarn ball all mixed together, whereas when I'm not comparing, right, and I'm inspired and I'm in a place of abundance, like I just feel free and expansive.
Totally. And for me, sometimes when I'm comparing, I'll notice that I'm in my head.
Totally.
I'll notice like, oh, I'm coming up with stories.
100%.
And I've taken the one small thing that I've seen, and it might just be a clip, or it might just be a paragraph that I read, or it might just be something I heard secondhand from somebody else. And now I've taken it and I've created this whole narrative around it. Right. And I keep telling myself that story. And as I do tell myself that story, what ends up happening for me, if I ruminate on it over and over and over, I experience it as if my story is actually happening. My body doesn't know the difference. So my body starts believing and storing that story. And the next thing I know, I've created suffering for myself by comparing myself to somebody else. And so when you say comparison's the thief of joy, it's actually storing suffering in my body.
Totally. We went to Joe Dispenza and he really talked about that as well, is where you place your focus, your energy goes in a positive or a negative way. And then that just ends up becoming your reality. I think that is golden.
And the more that we do that, the more that we create, whether it's that heavy comparison. And with comparison, there might be jealousy, there might be guilt, there might be frustration, there might be competition, there might be all kinds of things. And then if I'm comparing myself to somebody else and I'm noticing that I'm subtly not wanting them to win, what am I willing to do to get them there? Am I willing to sabotage them? Am I willing to secretly put them down behind their back? What am I willing to do if I'm in that mode of comparison? Versus what am I willing to do if I'm showing up from love for my friends?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yeah. And what do you notice about yourself when you're free from comparison? When in those moments where you're just noticing that you're just running your own race?
Well, when I notice that I'm running my own race, I just feel unstoppable. Like when I'm running my own race, it's just me and my goals on the path that was designed for me, the path that I'm creating. And to me, a lot of times comparison is a distraction. It's distracting me really from what my goals are in every way. It distracts my energy. It distracts my focus. It distracts my thoughts, right? And it sidetracks me. And so when I am in a place outside of comparison, right, I just feel free.
I love that. And for me, in those moments where I'm free, like I just feel so light. I feel so lit up. I feel so inspired about what I'm doing.
Amazing.
And in those moments where I'm inspired by what I'm doing because I'm following my passion, I'm following my purpose, like I just feel so aligned within myself that it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it truly doesn't matter what anybody thinks, what they say,
Totally.
because I feel so aligned and centered within me.
I love that. Well, Jeremy, I want to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
When you do find yourself in comparison mode, are you able to catch it? And if so, how do you switch it? How do you switch the energy?
Ooh, that's such a great question. Because actually, over the weekend, I noticed that I was going into a form of comparison, which was taking things personally.
Interesting.
And I noticed that I was starting to get really frustrated because I was. And I was telling myself stories. And when I start noticing that I'm feeling a certain kind of way, it's information. It's my mind's telling me stuff. My body's telling me stuff. My heart's telling me stuff. Like they're all telling me something. And what I'm noticing is in that case, there was some unresolved work that I got to go do on myself. And so I got to ask a dear friend of ours to help me. And I got to go look at the root of that.
I love that.
And then as I did, I just kind of came out of it and I was like, oh, wow. I guess this is an opportunity for me to just let that go. And over the last couple of days, it's just been like, oh, it doesn't matter. If anybody feels any certain kind of way about me, they can tell me. Totally. If they don't, who cares?
I love that. I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah. And so instead of telling myself a story and then taking that story personally, it's just given me an opportunity to go, hey, I'm good with me.
Right.
I know that I am clean. I know that I'm in integrity with myself. And if somebody wants to have a conversation with me, they can. My door is open.
I love that.
And if not, I'm just going to assume that life is great and let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So what about for you? What do you notice in those moments where you might feel comparison coming on? How do you deal with it?
Yeah. So I feel like I've started getting a lot more aware of how I feel. And I've just been a lot more aware of it on a daily setting, which is great. And a lot of times it's information, right? I know sometimes, for example, like when you go into my work Slack channel, right? Everybody is winning. We're getting buyers under contract. We are getting closings, right? All of the things. And it's beautiful. And I notice sometimes, and it's always a reflection of how I feel about myself in the day. But I notice sometimes, maybe I'm not 100 and, maybe I'm not as excited for them as I want to be. And what that's telling me is that there's something in me that's unresolved. And so a lot of times, if I notice that I feel, a lot of times my body will talk for me and I'll be like, why do I feel a little heavy? Right. And then that's information for me. What do I need to recheck within me? What do I need to go find? And a lot of times once I just catch it and I sit and I close my eyes, a lot of times that I'm able to just relax and just change the energy there in the moment. Knowing, it's still here for me, right? A lot of times, right, we go rediscover, right? My good friend Jeremy is very good at helping me with that. But I think for me, it's very helpful to catch it in the moment and pattern interrupt it.
Yeah. And in that moment, it's that awareness first.
Totally.
Every time. As soon as I have the awareness, I can step out of react, which is unconscious.
Right.
And into respond, which is conscious.
Right.
And in that moment, sometimes that pattern or interrupt is just take a breath. Sometimes it's, I need to stand up, or I need to walk around, or I need to reposition myself, or I need to just catch that thought in the moment. The pattern interrupt can look like a lot of different things.
Totally.
But the pattern interrupt is just, I've been just looping. I'm done looping. I'm going to make a different choice now.
And it's actually really beautiful. And just as you were talking, I had another piece of awareness on comparison. So I obviously just moved to Utah, right? And I left a business in Iowa that was pretty good. Like I was getting closings. I had lots of clients, right? And that felt good, right? So when I moved out here to Utah, well, obviously I don't have a business here, right? I have to rebuild that business. And so what I noticed over the last few months, right, going back to like the Slack channel, right, my team, everyone's winning, they're having closings. And sometimes I would think, well, why am I not having closings? Or why are things slow for me, right? And what's funny is that I didn't give myself the grace and didn't just appreciate the fact that I just moved across the country, right? I just kept looking at what everyone else was doing, not realized, oh, what did I just do? And so I think that's super interesting too, because that was just, almost like a, I don't know, a lack of self-love for myself almost, And
I remember a little bit ago in one of our sessions, you walked in and this was our topic for that session. And what was so cool was right after we cleared that, you had your first under contract. It was like 2 days afterwards. And we were like, okay, let's set an intention that things are going to start moving for you.
Totally.
And 2 days later, they started moving. And since then your pipeline's totally opened up.
Totally. Yeah. I remember after we had a different process too, I was like, why am I like not loving showings right now? Right? Like I just started telling myself a story that I didn't like showings, and that was so absolutely not true. Right? And then we had our session, and right after that, I ended up booking like a weekend full of showings and got 3 homes under contract.
Yeah. And what's that felt like for you?
It's felt really great to just start getting my momentum back, right? I've been putting the work in. I've been staying very dialed in and committed. I do what I say I'm going to do, and just getting my energy in alignment with that to match the words that are coming out of my mouth has made the biggest difference.
Yeah, I love that. And in those moments where you're noticing that your energy is dialed in, how much easier does it feel to stay focused on you versus when your energy feels off?
Oh my gosh, it's a night and a day difference. I feel like I'm just in flow. And when I'm in flow, what's really cool is I trust my intuition, right? My favorite, example is there's sometimes where I get, the ping to go work at a coffee shop. And so when I listen to that, instead of being like, well, I have to go to the office, right? I go to the coffee shop, I'm in flow, and I have the most productive day. I feel lit up, right? I'm having the best conversations on the phones. I'm just in flow.
And I remember that as another one of our things. Like when you first moved here, there was a subtle undercurrent of this is what's expected of me because this is what everybody's doing. And it wasn't necessarily this is what I want to do.
Right. Expectations.
And expectations are actually a subtle way of comparison as well.
Totally.
Because an expectation, you wind up comparing yourself to the expectation instead of listening to that inner voice and going, no, this is actually what I want right now.
100%. And it's funny you say that. I had some awareness the other morning as well. And I realized that sometimes I show up because I have to versus because I want to. And what I've noticed when I show up because I have to is out of a place of obligation. And that's the energy that I'm putting into whatever situation, the calls, the showings, the office. Oh, I have to go. Whereas if I go because I'm choosing to go, I'm going out of a place of choice. And that's the energy that I then put into the situation. People can feel my positivity, my excitement, my commitment. And it's just the biggest difference in the way that I really phrase the word. Do I get to show up or do I have to show up? Because it's totally a big difference.
And what do you notice with your clients in those moments where you get to show up versus when you have to, whether it's on the phone or in person? Like, how does the energy feel different to you?
Oh my gosh. I feel like when I'm showing up because I'm excited, because I get to go show homes, right? Or I get to have a meeting with them, they can feel my excitement, right? I have an example. When I was in flow, right? I worked at a coffee shop all morning and then I met with a new client and she was so worried, right? She's a first time home buyer. She's never done this before. She was like, I was so scared to even schedule a tour with you. And I met her and just my excitement and my conviction and confidence kept moving her forward. You know, you could feel the shift where she was super nervous and like, I don't know. And that totally shifted to excitement. Like, oh, I'm ready to go. Like, holy cow, I'm buying a house.
Yeah.
And that was 100% part of the way that I showed up to the situation.
And in those moments where you're so dialed into you and so in flow and so following your own compass, it becomes really easy for you to be that person for them.
Totally.
Because they need you to be that confident, reassuring, hey, I've got this. I've done this a lot. You're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Totally.
This is all part of it. And the more that you're dialed in and centered in you, the more that they can feel it.
Totally.
Because in my experience, I can feel people's energy. And even if somebody is saying the exact same words, if I'm feeling the energy, like I'm going to notice it.
Totally.
Even before somebody says a word to me. Like somebody can walk into a room and I can go, huh, okay, that's interesting.
Totally.
And sometimes, oh, that's interesting. I really want to meet them. And oh boy, that's interesting.
It's interesting. It's all information.
And it's like, huh, did you meditate yet this morning? Would you like to?
Maybe you should try this.
And I know for me in those moments, like where I'm finding myself in those moments of comparison, it's like, how can I get back to me?
Right.
And sometimes meditation's a great way to do that. Sometimes breath work's a great way to do that. Sometimes journaling is a great way to do that. Just getting it out.
Totally.
And so whatever method works for you, whatever thing works for you, maybe it's calling a friend.
Totally.
Maybe it's just being by yourself. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's playing with your pets. And whatever you need to do, it's always worth it in my experience.
100%.
And the cool thing about being in your own space is we can run our own race and we can win at our own race. Like I'm never going to be better at somebody else at being them.
Right.
And nobody is ever going to be better at being me than me.
I love that.
Like nobody's ever been a better me in the history of the world than me.
Amen.
And nobody can ever out be me.
Right.
And so my job is to show up in my full self, my full authenticity, and just crush it.
I love that.
And then as soon as I start comparing myself to somebody else, then I start trying to adjust who I am subconsciously to either meet them or fit in with them or whatever.
Totally. Totally.
So I know we touched on social media earlier, and it's something that our generations have just grown up with. And it's such a prominent part of people's lives now.
Totally.
Like people are on social media quite a bit. So how do you think social media has impacted comparison for somebody in their early 20s from your experience?
I think that's a great question. And what I would say about social media is a lot of times people only post the good. People don't post their crappy days. People don't post sometimes what's really going on in their world. That being said, I think as someone seeing someone else's stuff, it can create a lot of comparison because you're looking at, oh my gosh, they're doing this or they're doing this. They're making a lot of money. They're doing this. When behind the scenes, there's a lot more that's going on. And so I know that's something for me is I try to show it very authentically, right? I try to post the good and the bad, right? Because I think it's so well-rounded and people love the authenticity. People crave that.
Absolutely. In a world that's becoming so increasingly artificial, like I think authenticity is so key.
Totally.
And I remember at one point I had this idea and it was, let's create a social media platform, but you can't post your highlights on it. So when you're taking the family photos, you can't post that one perfect photo out of the 50.
Totally.
You have to do the one where the kids are sticking their tongues out at each other.
Yeah.
Or you have to do the one where somebody's blinking
Totally.
or hair's messed up or they're in a fight. And I think exactly to your point, I think so many people, like I remember one time I went Croatia. And I'm sitting out there on the beach, and you just get to this beach, and it was this wave of probably Instagram models and their boyfriends taking pictures of them. Right. And like they're all trying to get the perfect photo. And in those moments, I was like, are we even enjoying this? Or are we so focused on creating the perfect life? And I wonder if that comparison culture has created something that's so, that requires such a competition that people don't get to be present.
You know what? I actually love that. And, you know, when I was a little bit younger, I'd go on vacation. And I think the thing I was most excited about was tanning and taking photos of myself, to be completely honest. Right. And what's super, super cool is that I was just in Hawaii. Right. And photos, like, you know, the photos was honestly like the least of my priorities. You know, I feel like the real luxury in life is actually how you feel. It's experiencing the moment that you're in, right? And just sharing what you're experiencing through the phone.
Totally. I remember going to a Bruno Mars concert a couple years ago, and we walked in, we went through security, and then they took our phones and they locked our phones in a bag.
They can do that?
And handed the bag back to us. And so there were no phones. You couldn't get to your phone during the concert.
That's kind of great.
And he shared, he's like, I don't want you here. I want you here.
That's great.
I don't want you to sit there and experience the concert through your phone. I want you to experience the concert because you're here.
I love that.
And it was like, your phone can be a total distraction from who you are. And in that moment, like, I danced all night. It was so fun.
That is so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely. So how do we think social media creates opportunities for people to stop comparing?
For me, when I see something on social media, I would say it's an opportunity to dream. A lot of travel stuff has been popping up on my social media page recently, and there's no bit of comparison there.
Yeah.
It's just like, what would that look like? What if I went and backpacked for a month?
Yeah.
What if I went and moved somewhere for 3 months, right? It just lets you dream again, right? And start thinking of experiences that you want to have.
Absolutely.
And practice the way that you feel once you get to have that experience.
Absolutely. I love that. And for me, with social media, like, the opportunity is to see people who are living amazing lives and celebrate them.
To cheer them on.
Yeah. So if I see a friend winning, high five, tell me more about that. And it's an opportunity to check in and be able to see what's actually going on in people's lives.
Totally.
Because, like, I have friends all across the country and I don't see them every day. And so those moments where I get to see that they're winning, see that they're having fun, see that they're doing something cool or unique, it's like, yes.
Totally. You know, after me moving here, right, social media is a great way, right, to see everyone back home. I may not talk to every day, but even like a simple comment on their post or texting them after, being like, hey, oh my gosh, I saw this, right? It just shows that you care about people, right?
Yeah.
And it's just such a great feeling, like you're saying, cheering them on, right? We want to see our friends win. We have friends all over, like you're saying, right? And so it really is a perfect opportunity to just be like, hey, like, what's going on in your life, and just spread some joy, you know?
I love that. I love that. And as I think about spreading joy, if comparison is the thief of joy, then what's the generator of joy? And it's probably being authentic, right?
100%.
And so the more that I can lean into being authentic, the more that I can find the joy from just being me. And the more that I can find the joy from being me, it's starting inward with me.
Totally.
And then I'm finding joy everywhere around me because I've created this state of joy inside of me. And how fun is that?
So fun.
What's it like for you to be in those moments of pure joy?
For me, being in the moments of pure joy, I just feel like I am living a life of freedom. I feel like when I am in pure joy, I am just lit up.
Yeah.
You can just feel it, right? I feel like I am more enthusiastic. Like I just feel like I'm on top of the world. Like I don't feel like I have to force anything because everything is just flowing so smoothly and authentically.
Absolutely. I love that.
How about you, Jer?
For me, it's just those moments of it's being really present with myself and it's noticing what's happening in my life right now. Like catching the sunset. Like I was driving
100%.
yesterday. Like I drove all over the place yesterday. I was back and forth. I probably drove like 300 miles yesterday.
Holy cow. That's a long day.
And the cool thing about it was I was driving back at sunset.
Cool.
And I looked up and there was this gorgeous sunset going on. And I just stopped and I just appreciated it. Just that moment of awe of, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
Totally.
To be fair, Utah and Arizona have some great sunsets. They're not Maui.
No.
But they're pretty awesome.
They are pretty awesome.
I mean, if you're in Utah looking up, seeing the sunset coming up over the mountains is pretty special.
So pretty.
If you're in Arizona, seeing the sunset over the desert is gorgeous. I've never seen a prettier sunset than Maui, ever.
No, Maui does have a pretty good sunset.
So if you were to give somebody advice and they're like, you know what, some of what you've talked about with comparison has resonated with me. What are some things that you would recommend to somebody in their early 20s who wants to get out of comparison and wants to be more authentically themselves?
Oh, I love that question. And what I would say is if you ever notice yourself in a place of comparison, like we've talked about, the first step is having the awareness. And what's been super helpful for me, and I invite you to join in on this, is to maybe just check back in yourself. If you're feeling like you're comparing or you're feeling some comparison and some contraction, right? Maybe ask yourself a couple questions, right? What is lacking inside of me? What is creating this? Where do I feel this in my body? And really put pen to paper and ask yourself these questions and let your brain do its thing, because a lot of times your brain and your heart and your body, it's going to tell you if you take the time to just go deep and really see, right? Because it's not the other person, right? It's what's in here. And so for me, that's been super, super helpful.
And one thing I've loved about those moments where I have been able to either find my way back out of comparison myself or help my clients.
Totally.
Like I was working with somebody earlier today and he was noticing his own inner critic. And so he was comparing himself to himself or the version of himself that he thought he should be. And that inner critic was being really mean to him. And I didn't sit there and ask him, hey, help me figure out all the thoughts you're having about this. It's like, those thoughts are already mean. I don't want to hear more from them.
No.
I was like, let's find the memory that's in your body. And we did. And it took us a few minutes to work through it together. But we did. And he had a beautiful release.
I love that.
And I'm going to be so curious to see how it continues to show up in his life.
I love that.
And like for me, even though I am a coach and I do this full time, I still have my moments where Jared gets to be human too. And I still get to dive into my own work. Like I said, I was 100%. Doing some over the weekend and I was noticing, this is something that I want to change. And when I had that awareness and I wanted to change it, the very first thing I did is I got really curious about it. And I was like, I wonder where the root of this thing is showing up in my life. I wonder what's causing this. And as I dug into it with a coach friend, I was able to find it and resolve it. And since I have, I've felt so much better.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, it was so gorgeous.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jared, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Have you ever made a decision based off comparison?
Yes. Yes, I have. And this was actually in my coaching career.
Interesting.
And I saw how my mentor was building her business at the time. And I thought I had to build mine the same way. And so I modeled my whole business after her. And it was working great for her. But I would get started and I would get several clients and then I would hit a wall. And then I would get started and hit a wall, get started and hit a wall. And it was just stop and start, stop and start. And I wasn't seeing the momentum that I wanted. And the lesson there for me was, hey, do it your way because your way is designed for you.
Right.
And what I've actually learned as an entrepreneur is my business will show me things about me and it will show me areas that I need to grow.
Right. So
if my business is stuck, there's a chance that I'm stuck.
Right.
And so if I want my business to grow, I have to resolve myself first.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
What about you?
Yeah. So, well, first I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
About comparison. Do you ever think comparison's good, right? When you were starting, right, you were following what your mentor was doing. Do you think that was bad?
I don't think it was necessarily bad. Like, I think having a playbook or a script can be good. Like, I grew up as a musician. And when you start off as a musician, you start off reading sheet music and you read it the way that the composer wrote it. And so you aren't just doing your own thing.
Right.
You're playing the notes the way that they were written in a way that's designed to sound good.
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same in real estate where like you have playbooks and you have scripts and you have different things to help get you started. But then as I've found in my own coaching business, what I've found is I've found what works for me. And I understood the principles of what was going on in those scripts. And I'm like, how do I keep the principles?
Right.
And also take my experience that I've had and design the best of everything for me. And so it wound up being a transition for me from, hey, I'm following the script. And like there were literal scripts we would follow to, okay, I know exactly how I want to run this session. So point. And now we're going to just be in flow. So instead of having to sit there and focus on reading the script, I could stay present with my client.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I would say in my experience, I really like the direction you led. And so I know when I was starting out my business in Iowa in real estate, right? I started doing everything that my team leader was doing, everything. I was like, she's busy, I'm busy. She's working till 10 p.m., I'm working till 10 p.m. She works every weekend, I work every weekend. And while that's beautiful, what I realized is, yeah, I was making a lot of money, right? But all I was doing was working. That's really all I cared about. That's really where all of my time was consuming. And so when I moved out here, I realized there were gaps in my schedule because of the fact I was comparing to my team leader who's been in the business for 20 years, right? Me starting out compared to someone who's been in the business for 20 years, that's a whole different story, right? And so that being said, I was able to see the gaps, right? Oh, right, there are some skills that I can be sharpening on, such as like making calls, right? Prospecting. That's something that I really didn't do back home when I had a great business. But me comparing myself to her, I didn't see that in her schedule, right? And so I didn't maybe invest my time into doing that, even if I had the time.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And have you ever found that comparison's been valuable for you?
Nope. No. That's it.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And there's moments where we think it's serving us. And there's moments where it's like, oh, well, I'm learning from them. And I think there's a difference between learning from somebody and comparing yourself to somebody.
100%.
Because like we know some brilliant people. We know some people that have done really, really well. And it's like, if they give advice, the first thing I'm going to do with that advice is check in and say, how does that feel for me?
100%.
Is this advice for them? Is it for me, or is it for both of us?
Totally.
And if it feels like it's for me, that's awesome, because so many people have different perspectives. So many people have different strengths.
Right.
And yes, we live in a world now where you can learn new skills quickly. And sometimes knowing somebody who's already done it is a cheat code in life.
100%. Well, what's super cool too is like we all have our own unique skills, right? And none of us are the same people.
Right.
We all have our own box of tools, right? And so I think it's super great to, like you said, like hear what this person has to offer. And it's always important to check back in for what feels true to you.
Yeah.
Because something that's going to work for me isn't going to work for you.
Totally.
Some things might, but not 110% of everything. And when you compare yourself and start doing exactly what everyone else is doing, you're not following your own path.
Right.
And a lot of times, in my experience, that doesn't bring me joy.
Right. And it feels so inauthentic.
Totally.
In those moments where I'm just doing what I think is going to drive engagement, or what I think people want to see or want to hear, or what I think other coaches are doing.
Right.
It just doesn't feel authentic. And I'll watch it and I'm like, I love that for them. That doesn't feel authentic to me.
Totally.
And so exactly what you were saying earlier, if I'm listening to myself in those moments where I'm just being true to who I am, I can stop comparing and start living authentically.
100%. And in my experience, when you start living authentically, that's when everything flows to you, because you're just being yourself, and people love who you are. People love who I am. People love who Jer is. That's why everyone wants to work with you.
Yeah.
That's why people want to work with me.
Totally.
It's not when we're trying to be someone who we aren't.
Right.
It's beautiful.
And what I love about that is as we become more untamed, and part of becoming untamed is becoming authentic. And so if we can step more into who we always have been, if we start remembering that person who's always been there, it creates an opportunity for us to step out of the comparison game, because it's such an energy drain. Comparison is such an energy drain.
It really is.
And what if you could take all that creative energy, because comparison, it's actually really creative. Like, if you think about it, you have to tell yourself a story of what's actually happening, which is creativity.
Totally.
So what if you could reuse all that creativity for something you actually want to create?
I love that.
And so what if you were reclaiming your creative energy to put towards something that you're actually passionate about, that actually brings you purpose in your life, that actually brings you joy in your life?
It's beautiful.
And all of a sudden, this energy leak, which is comparison, turns into something really powerful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Super beautiful.
Absolutely. And we want to thank you guys for being here with us on Being Untamed. And if you've enjoyed this episode and you know somebody else who'd want to be untamed, bring them along, invite them, share this link with them. Love to have you along on the journey with us. Thank you. And we look forward to it next time.